Have you ever wondered how much it actually costs to make an iPhone 16 Pro Max? I know I have. I hate to admit it, but like as a random Joe that makes videos on phones, I find myself way more often than I would like walking into a freaking Apple store with their beautiful glass doors, casually whipping out my 7-year-old debit card that's almost broken and dropping $1,200 on a brand new iPhone. A part of me is like, how much does this thing actually cost to make? Like, it can't be that much. If Apple's $1 trillion company, maybe this thing costs like $20 and that's how they make so much freaking money. Me, I'm in college right now. And well, I'm studying the almighty entrepreneurship. Yeah, I'm surprised that it's a thing too. And if there's something that I've learned as a business owner, you make something at a certain price, then you sell it at a lot more. So you can like make money, you know what I'm saying? And you can like pay for marketing and all those other things. And that's just business. I understand that. That's just how it works. And judging by the fact that Apple is the most valuable company in the world with being valued over like $4 trillion, I'd say they're probably pretty good at their margins. I'm not saying they're making this iPhone for like $80 and reselling that thing for $1,200. That'd be like borderline robbery. I would still cop though, probably. But after doing some digging and well, just talking with my good friend ChatGPT for a solid 12.5 minutes. Don't worry, it's the paid version, the $20 a month, all right? I've discovered quite a few things. And while all these numbers don't take into account like development and marketing and research and all those other costs, it's just like the actual cost of the goods. I'm sure Apple has like a million other costs they have to worry about and add into their margin here. But this is the actual price of the hardware. Starting with the screen, this beautiful 6.9 XDR OLED display costs around $80 to make, which is quite a bit. And the thing about this is they don't make their own screen. In fact, they buy it from their main competitor, Samsung. The beef with Samsung still goes on today. I mean, the comment I see the most in all of my shorts that I make is this GIF. They also do source some of their displays from LG as well, but you know, LG's phones don't really freaking exist anymore, so nobody cares about them. Maybe their TVs, fine. The next thing is that these chargers suck. This is the Multixel Mega Charger. This thing is the best. But check this thing out. You can charge this, all with one charging brick. This thing is about the size of a Apple laptop charger, but instead of one port, you get 8 ports. Like, this thing is insane. I feel like this is something I've always needed but never looked for, but it's here. We got a 100-watt charger that can charge your laptop. We got a 35-watt charger, 4 45-watt chargers, and finally we have a 20-watt charger. And then we have a USB type A, which is the 15 watts. But this thing covers all your needs and is by far the best charger you can buy on the market right now. Huge thanks to Multixel for sponsoring this video. I'll have the link in the description. Next thing is their 8 gigs of RAM. And well, that thing costs about $17. And the companies that are making these are called SK Hynix and Micron Technology. No idea. When it comes to the storage of the phone, like the memory, this is where Apple is making a freaking killing, okay? The storage costs $22. And then to upgrade it, it's like, I'm sure it's like $10 more probably. And you're paying like $200 more. And for the storage, well, they're made by a company called Coaxia and then also Samsung. Well, Samsung is once again on the list. Is this phone really made by Apple? That's the question. Okay. Now for our beloved A18 Bionic chip. This thing is beautiful, right? The powerhouse of the beast. First of all, the A18 Bionic is made by a company called TSMC, which is a Taiwanese semiconductor company. And honestly, if you're looking at their website, you'd have no idea what they actually sell. I mean, I didn't. I was like, what the frick is this? But this beauty for Apple costs a whopping $45. So that's respectable. That's putting some money where their mouth is. So the iPhone 16 Pro Max is equipped with 5G, as you know. And the modem and receiver are made from none other than Qualcomm themselves. Yes, AKA the enemies. The freaking enemies. That is if you are a through and through Apple fan. This is that big bad company that makes all the chips for all the competitors. Google, Samsung, OnePlus, like I don't even know what other companies are at this point. So that's kind of a surprise. This next one was honestly kind of a surprise to me. You know that company that makes your calculators that you had to use in your dreaded high school math class? At least, well, I dreaded them. Yes, Texas Instruments. They make the power management chips in the iPhones. And this is costing Apple a solid $17 a chip. Not bad if you're selling 1 million phones. That's $17 million or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, the next company is called Broadcom. Very interesting name, honestly. And these guys come in clutch, and they save us all from those dreaded wires. They make the Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, NFC, and audio equipment. And that only costs $15. That's it. And honestly, if you ask me, that's a freaking bargain, because without those things, this would suck. The next part is the wireless communication, like radio devices and the radio transmitting things. And they're made by a company called Skyworks. Apple's dropping a solid $29 to Skyworks' bank account every single iPhone they buy. buy. Not a bad deal if you ask me. Okay, now this next one really surprises me. I had no idea that this was the case. Basically, the story goes, I was at lunch with some cool guys from Sony. Yeah, like the Sony that makes the PS5 and all the TVs and the cameras. Yeah, them. And my guy Tony, aka Sony Tony is what we call him, he tells me that Sony makes all the cameras in the iPhone. And I was like, what? Really? No way. I was taken back, honestly. I didn't know how to react to that. That was like all new to me. And I guess at the time, the info was a little on the DL, but now it's like a little more like acknowledged publicly that, yeah, Sony makes all the cameras for the iPhone. And Apple is dropping a solid 100 bones on all 4 of the cameras of the iPhones, making them all 25 bucks each. Straight from our boy Sony Tony for every unit. That was a big chunk of the budget, so they better be good. And honestly, it's kind of a shame because they're basically making some of the best cameras on any phones. I mean, like the iPhone, and they still can't figure out how to make a freaking phone themselves. Rest in peace to any Sony phone. Sorry, Sony Xperia. All right, for the next part is this. It's the thing that goes right next to the cameras, and that is the LiDAR sensor. And this one's made by a company called ST Microelectronics. And these guys are actually from Switzerland. So that's exotic, but Apple's paying them 19 bucks a pop so that we can have our precious Face ID. And honestly, it's kind of goated. The fact that I can like look away from my phone, but my face is still facing it and it won't log in, but then the second I look at the actual screen, it like logs in. It's freaking magic. Like, what the crap? That's insane. All right, so when it comes to the battery, all I want is 2 things. For it to last long and not freaking blow up. Like the Galaxy Note 7. Yeah, sorry, old wounds. I know they have recovered from that. Don't worry, all you Samsungites. But luckily, they're buying all their batteries from this company in Hong Kong called ATL, which I had never heard of, but apparently this company's over worth $1 trillion. So that caught me by surprise. But Apple's buying these batteries for 15 bucks a pop, so not too bad. So they must be probably buying a lot if the company's worth that much. Or yeah, they sell their stuff. Yeah, shut up, who cares? No. The next one is the PCB substrates. And these are basically like the foundation of what holds all the chips together, like kind of like that. The dinner plate, you know what I'm saying? And these are made by various suppliers. They weren't necessarily specific about this one, but that thing only costs 15 bucks, so they're chilling. And now we're finally getting to the things that you actually touch on the phone, and that is the frame. Our beloved sliver of titanium we get to touch every day if you don't wear a case. But it's only on the outside of the phone. And that part is only costing 19 bucks, ironically, because most phone cases cost more than that. And they're like plastic and crappy. But these titanium ones, like, it actually feels nice. Like, I actually love using my phone without a case. This is a Samsung fetch. Now for the only thing actually made by Apple in the iPhone, and that is, well, not even the iPhone, it's the box and the accessories. And well, I say that acting like there's a lot of them. All it is a freaking box that's barely bigger than the iPhone, and then a cable, which is a braided cable. I'll give them that, it is nice. I do like the braided cable. Please don't take it away. And thank goodness the UN made them get USB-C, because that makes everything in my life a lot simpler, honestly. Like I could charge this thing, I could charge this thing, I could charge this thing, all because it's all the same cable. Thank you, UN. All that costing them a solid 8 bucks. And while I do acknowledge that there are other parts to this phone, but they really don't release any more of the info. Like a lot of it's just smaller pieces, and there's like a bunch more of them. So I don't get all those details necessarily. And all those extra pieces are another $57 to the budget. Anyways, if you skipped math class like me and you didn't add up all those sporadic numbers, this is the total cost that it takes to make an iPhone 16 Pro Max. It's $486. Honestly, that's more than I was expecting, but that is still less of half of the cost of the actual iPhone. For all you people that hate business and don't really understand it, you can go cry. I could care less. And for those of us that actually do understand the grind and the business, I give the props to Apple. Well done. Well played, Apple.